Hello everybody, I am CaptainPaxo. I'm going to be running Lego The Hobbit, N0CUT5 for you guys now, and joining me are these two wonderful people. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
You go first, you actually know this.
I'm the Bloodborne. I don't actually run this game, but I know some things about it.
I'm Lasertrap. I'm just a community mod. I've done one run of this game ever, and that was the only time I played it.
So as you can see, we're very prepared for this run.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I think we're pretty much good to get started. So I guess before we start, let's explain the category. The category is any percent N0CUT5, so we're going to be obviously beating the game as quickly as possible. But we're going to be doing it with this cheat code. This is the N0CUT5 cheat code, and this allows us to skip any cutscene that comes up. I think all but one in the whole game. Any cutscene that we see in any percent though. So we're definitely going to be using that. In this run, actually, it only saves about 3 minutes. Normally there's like an hour of cutscenes in the game, but this category is so short, we only see 3 minutes of cutscenes normally, but we're skipping them anyway.
Yeah, we're not going to play a lot of the game.
Not at all. So I think we're good to get started with the run. We got the good title screen actually, which means that we don't have to wait 20 seconds after starting the game to be able to skip the opening cutscene. Time starts when we skip the opening cutscene, so we'll start the file now. And the run will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, that's a good start that we didn't get a long load to start with, which is quite useful. But first things first, we have got to make our way through this first level. There's no way, unfortunately, to skip through this first level, so we have to play the entire first level. But this level itself is still incredibly broken. As you can see, I'm going to be using 2 controllers for this run. And I actually control player 2 with my chin, which is a little bit of an alternative way of running the game. But it's the way I found most useful to be able to control both characters at the same time. There's a large variety of methods, but this is what I find easiest. And we're now going to make our way down the stairs here. Just a cheeky little jump here to cut a bit of a corner.
I've done that.
You have indeed, you have. I taught you that one. And then we jump, small little time save there by jump diving into the trigger for the camera pan there. And we are going to, for some reason, distract these guards with chicken. No idea why. These guards won't move out the way for the grandson of the king, but if you give them chicken, they will happily abandon their post.
Checks out. So one player using 2 controllers, or the shorthand for it, 1P2C, is something that is common to all LEGO speedruns.
Yeah, that's common to pretty much all LEGO games. Well, what we've got here is we've got a skip known as gem skip. Oh, I'd missed it.
So there's a trigger right before the anvil there.
Yep.
And if you drop out player 2, so it's an NPC, he won't actually trigger it.
Yes. As player 2's an AI characters can't hit triggers for some reason in this game. So normally you can skip through that. Unfortunately, I was not able to. I managed to pause and unpause rather than pause and dropping out, which is a little bit annoying, but...
So I believe what happens if you do the skip correctly is the door that you saw close, it stays open, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And so you can actually skip more than a minute?
It saves about 90 seconds, I want to say, 80, 90 seconds if you do it.
It's a good amount of time saved, but anything happens in a marathon and, well...
Anything surely did happen.
You get to see more of the game because this run is too short.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. This is the only level we actually play.
Yes.
Well, in its entirety, at least.
In its entirety, so we might as well enjoy it while we're here.
True, true.
That's clearly what I was aiming for the entire time there.
Ah, yes, of course.
But instead, we've got to build this here. It's a good thing I practiced this actually before the run, because normally if we mess up gem skip, which was that skip, in a normal any percent run, we would just restart straight away because it loses about a minute 30-ish, and it's a minute 30 into the run. So it's a pretty obvious reset to do, especially when the world record for this category is 10:49 by the hamster.
Fashioning objects of great beauty out of diamond, emerald, ruby, and sapphire.
But after that small detour, we're going to make our way through here, and I guess now's a good time to explain that Bloodborne's been having a bit of fun with this game over the past couple days, haven't you?
A bit. I've swapped out a texture and a couple of sound files. Nothing much, nothing too extreme.
Nothing too extreme and nothing that affects the gameplay of the run. But in this next cutscene, if you listen very carefully, you might be able to hear something that shouldn't be there. If I actually activate the whistle, that would be useful. That doesn't sound like it should be there.
Doors are just moving.
Yep, so that was Bloodborne having a bit of fun with the game, substituting in the Mos Eisley Cantina theme from Star Wars into my LEGO The Hobbit speedrun.
I feel right at home.
Everything gets better with the Mos Eisley Cantina song.
Yep, absolutely. So we're now going to do this building.
So building in this game is a bit of a mini game. The blocks you need to select are always the same, but where they are on the selection wheel is always randomized. So Paxo just needs to use some quick reflexes to hopefully not make too many mistakes.
Whoops. There we go. Yeah, so that's all memory in terms of knowing what pieces there are and what order they need to appear in as well.
Then you're going to go down and do some mining, and
Yep.
there's another little mini game here with timing right in the middle, which will break them in one hit. Otherwise, you might need to go back and do another.
Yep. So if you get them with a perfect hit, kind of where it was more coloured in, you can effectively do 3 damage to the like mining outcrops, immediately breaking them. Otherwise, you have to hit them 3 times normally. We've got another skip here, known as barrier skip, which I did manage to get this time.
Yeah,
that's nice. So basically, we jump over that invisible wall. We jump over that invisible wall because player 2 has earlier movement than player 1, and you can get over that wall before the wall itself is actually set. With player 1, it's impossible to do that because you don't have enough time.
You also saw Paxo jump over the staircase there. There is a death plane, but he managed to avoid it. First try this time.
Yeah. Going into this next room, we also have a couple more bits of tech. First thing is a intended mechanic in the game, which is known as a buddy up, which is where with 2 small characters, you can have one pick the other up, or they kind of join hands in a weird way. And that is an intended mechanic in the game used for, like, I think to deal extra damage to certain things or defeat certain types of bosses. But we're going to completely break that wide open here. We're going to get a vertical buddy up where both players are stacked on top of each other. And I'm going to be jumping here and hopefully buffering my jump button. So I'm effectively re-grabbing the jump button in the air and also dropping all directional inputs by the time I land. Normally you can't walk over this kind of liquid gold type stuff. But if you do that buffer jump, you get a first frame jump before you get dragged down by the liquid gold. And that allows you to skip this entire room.
It's a pretty hard skip, and it was new last year.
Yes, so that was one of the last things was found. That was found by Loz, who is just behind us right there. That's
Nicely done.
Yeah, that was actually not too bad. We probably have time for one donation right now.
Bearhead donated $50. Spam this saxo. Saxophone. 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 To support Paxo. Saxophone. 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 Huge shout out to at Origin of Chaos and his lookalike for commentating both of Paxo's runs. Give them all a follow.
Beautiful.
So that's Origin of Chaos and Loz in the front row there. They're actually not commentating this run, but they definitely do look alike, I can agree on that point. So now we finished our first level, and the game is going to try and give us pointers to the second level, but I don't really feel like playing that level, to be honest. In any percent, we just choose not to. Instead, we're going to go and do something a lot more fun. We're going to go and hit the door to load level 13. Do you want to explain how that works, Bloodborne?
Sure, but first to explain another unintended mechanic of the buddy up. They clearly didn't really think this through, but if you try and buddy up with in between yourselves, you just fly into the air.
Yep.
And that lets him get out of bounds.
GG.
So
that was pretty clean, actually.
This I know how it works as well.
Go ahead, John.
Thinking about it, maybe I don't know, but...
Okay. So buddy up is useful for all sorts of things. If you have a horizontal buddy up like this, and you do an attack, you spin around. Now, as long as you're not moving, the game kind of forgets you have collision and gravity, so you can just keep attacking and spinning forwards without ever falling down.
Yeah, if you drop all directional inputs when the animation is starting and stopping for the attack, the game just forgets the fact that you're floating in the air. We're going to use that a couple more times here to be able to make our way to the trigger for level 13. What happens with the trigger itself for level 13 is basically the developers left some doors in the overworld. They're basically out of bounds, kind of invisible areas where if you walk through, you're then able to warp to a certain other, or load another file and play a certain other part of the game. So we're going to be using that here. We're going to not only hit the one for level 13, which in its own would skip 12 levels, we're going to hit the one for the third room, or the last room of level 13. Because, you know, that's just the way the game can break. But first off, we've got these hovers across the river here. Normally it takes about 8 hovers to get across here. I might do one more for safety. Actually, nah. That was fine.
Yeah.
And we're going to make our way along here. Hopefully not get a random boost, because we are playing with VSync off, and in this buddy up state, the game likes to kind of launch you a bit. Yeah, we got that bit there. But thankfully we didn't fly off into the river like I think happened in the practice room earlier today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this trigger for level 13 is a little bit precise to hit. I'm going to switch to VSync 30 Hz before we hit it.
So you'll see it's behind this big rock here, and do you use the visual cue where you're looking at like a fold in the rock?
Yeah, so I'm looking at this kind of darker texture of the rock and lining it up with the right side of Sam. Oh, I'm using the wrong controller. But then we hit the trigger there. That's actually quite precise. We switched to VSync 30 Hz because that gives you just enough height.
It didn't look like much happened, but that was deceptively difficult.
That is surprisingly difficult. It's only like a 3-frame window or something, I think. So yeah, that's really nice. We then immediately, once we've entered the level, we're going to exit it because I've decided I don't want to play that level either.
Level 13 specifically unlocks horses for you.
Yes.
But we don't actually care much about playing the actual game.
And apparently Bloodborne has modded this horse a bit. Yes, we got the ESA logo on the horse. Let's go! Woo.
ESA! ESA!
Very nicely done, Bloodborne. It's a spinning texture as well. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
But we're going to do a VSync launch here. So I'm going to position myself along here, and I'm going to change my VSync from 30 Hz to off. And it's going to go up to apparently over 1,000. And by doing that, we are able to get this ridiculously high launch, because the game miscalculates how much height it should give you when going up in any slope.
Yeah, so when you position yourself on a slope, and the game thinks you're running on 30 frames per second, it will calculate a certain height to give you.
Yep.
But then if you suddenly change it to 1,000, you'll get about 300 times higher.
Yep, because the FPS change just magnifies the amount it should be given. I think it's a multiplier.
Yeah.
For some reason. I guess it's trying to calculate how much it should give you per frame.
Something like that.
And there's a lot more frames. Yeah.
Horses in this game clearly also follow the Skyrim school of physics.
Yep.
As in, they just don't physics. They can go up pretty much any slope.
That was new.
And we'll be using that later to hit an even more important out-of-bounds trigger.
Yep.
Just skip all the way to the last room or the last level.
Yep, so you can see with horses I'm kind of on a diagonal slope, but then if I jump, my horse goes completely vertical, like in a straight up position for absolutely no reason. Annoyingly in this game, your momentum is kind of locked when you're in a jumping animation. In LEGO Lord of the Rings, you can spin around freely when you're in the air as a horse, and you keep the same momentum, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen in this game. But yeah, before the madness begins, with hitting the last trigger, let's throw it over to one more donation.
Lost donated $10. UGL Paxo. Are you sure it's a good idea to follow the dwarves to Erebor?
Thank you very much, Loz. That is a great donation. And I'm pretty sure it's a good idea to follow the dwarves to Erebor. We've got to find out what they're up to. So, come on. That's a reference to the opening line in Lego Batman 3, which Loz played yesterday. Not yesterday, Sunday. So I'm going to set up for a VSync launch here.
Yeah, so Paxo is doing an alternative version where instead of changing the VSync settings to mess with your FPS, he's just alt-tabbing out of the game, which will set your FPS to 1 for a short moment.
Yep. So it basically guarantees that I get enough height. That was a surprisingly little amount of height I got there, to be honest.
Yeah. So what he's doing now is called horse clip. As I said, these horses can stand on pretty much any slope, which can also cause the rider to flip out of bounds.
Okay.
And you actually got it first try.
This is incredibly annoying as a skip. So if I get this first try, this is ridiculous pace, actually. Apart from missing gem skip. No way, we got it first try.
Yeah. That is an insanely difficult, insanely precise trick.
So, yeah, we have like 20 seconds left in the run now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk into this collision and hold left, and we get an immediate launch up to the ceiling.
Because buddy up.
Yep, and then I can switch to this character, and time is coming up very shortly.
And...
Yep, that's time.
Did you just get
that was
a valid run?
Wow, that was really impressive.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen you do restricted any %, which is a lot longer, so
yeah,
I didn't know what to expect. And you didn't even play the last level, you just went straight to the end of it.
Yeah, no, you hit the trigger for the last room of the last level.
Wow.
I would have had time to explain it, because I expected horse clip to take about 5 minutes. That clip to get out of bounds is notoriously inconsistent. I think if I'd played the rest of the run perfectly, then I gave myself about 5, 6, 7 minutes to be able to just do horse clip, to be able to hit that last trigger. So to get it first try is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, that's pretty insane. And I think the next cutscene, you've done something, haven't you?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I may have fiddled around with it a little.
So let's see what the madness is that this next cutscene is. This is a file in the game, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Lego Lord of the Rings.
In Lego Lord of the Rings, right. Is this Dance Party? Is that what it's called?
Disco file.
Disco file, that's it. So, yeah, that is the end of the run. I guess shout-outs to everyone in the Lego community, especially John, Loz, Prince, Justin, and Chimkin, who are the series mods for the game. And then shout-outs to... I'm going to forget people, but the Hamster, who's the world record holder for this game, Origin, who's back there and sometimes runs this game. These two, obviously, both amazing runners and amazing human beings, and of course, shout-outs to everyone at ESA for just having us here and creating such a great event.
Can I give one more shout-out?
Of course.
He does run this game, he runs a lot of games, and I forgot to shout him out during my run. Flaming Laser.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Flaming Laser is actually a young runner, but he's really cool, up and coming for a lot of games.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sorry for the cursed ending.
But yeah, that was Lego The Hobbit. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.